Hey guys, this is wishkotheferret. Thanks for hopping into the ferret den. We're keeping things warm, we're keeping things cozy, and today we have a reading for Scorpio for March 13th to the 19th. So, before we get started, I do want to say that I have a Patreon that is about to launch. I don't know why I said about to. It's late March, early April. So while that's in the works, if you like what I do and if you think I'm cool, go ahead, subscribe to my stuff and like this video so that we can help the community grow and so that you don't miss any more content from me. So, as always, drop into your heart space. Let the dust physically, emotionally, and spiritually settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for other people. Go ahead, call in your spirit guides and your angel team, whoever you work with on the other side. And I'm going to drop into my heart space as well and connect with your energy. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for shrouding us in a bubble of protection and light. Thank you, spirit team and angels, for helping me connect with the highest source, the highest love, and the highest truth. Thank you for giving me the confidence and the articulation to deliver this message to the energy of Scorpio today. Thank you for helping me channel energy for Scorpio's sun, moon, or risings, however they feel called here, or whoever else feels called here. So before, as I was shuffling your, I've pre-shuffled oracle cards sitting right here, and I didn't look at them yet, but I was hearing something about the Divine Feminine. So some of you may have been working with Divine Feminine, but there is a connection to Divine Feminine calling in. There's something about connecting with, like, the feminine energy. So there's definitely, like, a need for some type of, like, talk about it. So the spirit said, talk about it. I don't really know what to say about it, except the Divine Feminine. When I think of it, I think of, like, being held with love and care. When we're speaking of the Divine Mother, we're speaking of, like, the Holy Mother, known across many cultures as many different things in many different religions. I know her as Virgin Mary. I also know her as, no, I don't know her as anything else, but it could be related to some other higher feminine force, some higher love, some higher nurturing energy. Hang on, I'm like trying to talk and I really just feel like taking it slow. I really feel like taking this reading, this energy does feel very slow, and I don't want to say, like, this feels like an encumbering energy, like a kind of like a heavier or downtrodden energy, like we just came out of something, like something deep, something rough, something cold, something dark. And I'm glad I'm shuffling the pile that the life easier section, because I think we need some breath of fresh air here. So I'm just gonna, like, get started. It feels like things are pretty muddled, so I'm just gonna, like, use the cards as a guide and see what comes through. Maybe they'll be more clear later. Maybe you've been trying at certain things these past few weeks, and they haven't really been working out the way that you thought they would. And I'm hearing Spirit say stop. Like, stop. like a stop, slow down, back up, breathe type of energy. I don't know. Or maybe they're telling me to stop. I don't know. This energy feels so confusing to me. I'm not really sure why the channel's not coming through clear. So I'm just going to read the cards. We have the Nine of Cups here. Nine of Cups in your current energies, as well as the Ten of Swords. I do feel like there's some kind of sense of accomplishment here. The Nine of Cups is a sense of accomplishment, feeling gratified or satisfied in some way. But then the Ten of Swords is an ending to something. So it does feel like, I don't want to say, I don't know, it just feels like an abrupt end, or maybe something you saw coming for a while, and then it kind of strikes with the pain of being abrupt, but you kind of saw it coming. So, and this is all in 1 week. You have 5 different cards that popped out for the current energies. But it feels like something has been, like, you've fulfilled something, you've been aching for something or longing for something, there's some kind of ache for something, or you've set, okay. Here's how this is coming through. You have I'm working on it. There, you're freeing yourself from something. So you've accomplished something, and the Ten of Swords indicates an end to it. So I really like that. I really like that for you. I feel like there's still some kind of an ache here, like you wished it turned out differently, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles here. I don't really feel like you're going to be stuck in that energy for long. It feels like a minor ache because it's surrounded by all these wonderful cards afterwards. You have the Six of Wands, the World. You also have the Four of Wands, which, I don't know. I feel like it's just a pretty good follow-up energy. I feel like you're taking charge of your place in the world and you're going out and you're seizing opportunities. So the Six of Wands is about taking the lead. The spirit will go where you follow, is what they're saying. So head in that direction. Kind of see what... Okay, so Sprite. Someone just said Sprite. I don't know if that's a confirmation for some of you, but I'm just going to go with it. Because if I don't, like, I'll have to stick with the things that they tell me so that the channel can get a little bit stronger. But essentially, back to the message. Sprite might be confirmation. I don't really know why that's coming through. But Six of Wands is taking charge, taking the lead, moving forward on your own accord. And Spirit's like your army. They're going to follow you no matter where you go. And they're supporting you all the way. The World is venturing out. I just hear venturing out into the deep unknown. So maybe you're traveling, maybe you're going out and you're doing like this strange new... Someone just said a strange new addition to the family, so I'm not sure what that means. But some of you may also be like, it's gonna be a ride. Whatever this next adventure is, it's kind of like coming through as like kind of like a thrill ride or a joy ride. Just right as I started saying that, Oliver is freaking out for no apparent reason. He's like, all of a sudden, he just got like a jolt and got really excited and started to play. He doesn't normally do that out of the blue, which I think is so cute right now. I'm like debating if I take the camera away and show you, he might stop. See, yeah, he just stopped. But it was really cute. But the Four of Wands indicates that's kind of like a happy home, happy family. But I feel like it's often an interpretation of this card that, like, what's big or what's small? Is it viewing things as smaller, or like things are bigger or smaller than they appear? It's like a perception issue or something. Or like, are the people small or are the wands big? Like, that's usually the question with the Four of Wands. And I feel like for whatever's coming through with this, the wands feel big. It feels like something big and magnificent, or just, I don't know. It just feels like not only is this going to be a joyful ride, but the thing that you're seeking is going to, like, you're basically having some kind of a glow up, or you're glowing. Spirit said you're glowing. You're glowing in this next section. And literally the Four of Wands are big. You are in this, I don't want to say some of y'all are coming into mansion living. That's not really, I mean, maybe some of you are, but I really feel like that's not 100% what they mean, but it's the metaphor that it is. It's like you're walking into something like a little bit larger than life here, or like you're walking into some kind of abundance where like a physical abundance of having something be very big for you. So I don't know, some of you could be like getting a big home. Like, it could be that. But I don't know. I feel like there's just, you completed something, you ended it on a satisfactory note, even though there's a little bit of an ache, and then you're charging forth into something new. Whatever this adventure is, what are the Astro I say? Because, like, I really want to know now. Like, I don't know, I'm being nosy. I can't tell y'all what came through because it's like a personal, like, location that Spirit told me that's relevant to me, but not to you, but I know what they mean by it. So they indicated a part that seems like the ritzy part of town. So maybe some of you could be getting associations with this part of the neighborhood, or maybe some of you could be moving into like a bigger home or like something fancier. It's not like big, fancy, rich mansion. That's not really what I'm thinking. But it just feels like it's like a step up from what you're used to living. It's almost like you're leveling up. So some of you could be moving into that situation. Some of you could be visiting areas like this, like kind of like short travel. Short traveling, maybe like you just made a new friend and they invited you to some kind of house party and you're like, ooh, like, I don't know. There's just something, it feels like that's you though. I don't know if maybe it's like, I don't know if it's like a new lover or if you're like getting married or whatever and you're like walking, I don't know. This week just feels like just like some type of abundant living or some type of step up from where you used to be, in like a physical sense of the word. And it doesn't have to be a home. It can be other things. Like I just heard like a step up in your equipment. Maybe the equipment that you're using is going to get upgraded in some way and maybe be a little bit more fancy. Or something's going to get like an up level here. Something in the physical sense is getting an up level. Some challenges here though. We still have some challenges with the mind. Some challenges with like feelings of like maybe depression or loneliness or I don't know. There's just something here. I'm hearing that there are like some taboo topics. They just said taboo topics coming to mind. So you have the South Node, the sign of Cancer, and you have the 12th house. The 12th house does have to do with addictions and suicidal thoughts, and so I just heard someone say the Great Depression. So I mean, this doesn't feel financial, but the way that they said the Great Depression kind of made it sound like maybe there was some kind of issue with money. But given the South Node, there's some kind of cycle that keeps repeating again and again, some kind of fear that you're being made to face again and again, or some type of bad or ill thinking habit or addiction of some sort that's coming to mind. And it's something that's like that feels very sensitive to you. With Cancer, it's causing feelings of these deep hurt, like deep senses of hurt, deep senses of suffering. I just don't like when the South Node and Cancer and 12th house are rolled at the same time. It's just, it feels like an icky combination. Not icky, but it feels so deep. It feels like such an ache. It feels like we can so easily get wrapped up in our minds over these cycles. And let me be the first to tell you, and this is, I don't want to say this is like, okay, no, this is my message. Amanda the Psychic Medium, Wishko the Ferret, this is coming from me. You don't have to break these cycles now. It is hella hard to fix, quote unquote. I'm putting that in quotes. If you're not looking at me, I'm putting it in quotes, putting up the air quotes. It's hard to, how do I want to say this? It's hard to fix addiction. It's hard to fix. It's not something that needs fixing. It's something that just needs to be changed up. And it's not just addiction that I'm talking about, but this is addiction to, well, okay, no. What I'm speaking of is addiction to like compulsions, addictions to drugs, addictions to the dramas in our lives when we hyper focus on them, the addictions to our own suffering, the addiction to our old stories that we tell ourselves. This is an addiction to many different things. Something that satisfies you to some level. I definitely, and I mean, I'll be the first to say I was very depressed growing up, and I'm not like that as much anymore. I still have my moments, but there's a part of me that misses it. In some up way, I miss it, and I don't know. There's something satisfying about returning to the same feeling again and again, and it must be the comfort. Ultimately, it does not serve me to be in those states, but I understand that there are parts of it that like where I feel crappy, but there is a familiar feeling to it. And because you start life, if you started life like that in like this depressive episode, or when you're thinking of, when you spend your like the first 20 or so years of your life worrying about money growing up, and then you take those into like real world living, and you're stuck with them and you keep revisiting them, and there's something nostalgic about feelings of hurt and loneliness and all of these old stories and the person you used to be, but the person you are is not the person you used to be. And it's hard to break those cycles and those habits. We might think sometimes that we've ditched them for good, and then sometimes they return. Sometimes we indulge in them, and then sometimes we indulge in them, and then we look back and we're like, ugh, what was that? Like, it didn't feel very good. Now that I'm in like a better state of mind, and after I had like that little meltdown, it didn't feel very good. Maybe on some level it was necessary to maintain my state of being, and I needed to release something. But there is something here about being stuck in that energy for a little too long. So with the Astro Dice, I really do feel, Scorpio, that some of you may be prone to that energy. Spirit's trying to tell me something medical right now, but I don't understand. I know it's a metaphor, though, that they're telling me. They said something like malignant tumor. I don't even know what that means, or it just seems like a growth, like in your spirit, that's kind of benign, and you can just ignore it until it shrinks, essentially, is kind of the deal. I'm not going to say ignore it, but like, it's obviously not good to have around. This feeling of being sad is not good to have around. And I recommend, like, you know, if you are feeling this energy, or if energetically you're just not feeling up, I will recommend for those who have the resources, not only to rely on your support systems, but to go seek out therapy and the appropriate medical professionals, because I am not that. I may have been a psychology degree, but I am not it for giving solid medical advice or counseling advice. But definitely seek out those resources if you have those available. And like, should you need guidance or assistance, Spirit will point you in the right direction for that. In terms of your challenges, you have the Seven of Wands and you have the King of Swords. The Seven of Wands here, Spirit said, I'm just trying. Someone said, okay, so I have like little helper spirits around. They're like communicating like the higher, you know, because sometimes they don't talk to me in the most like godly wit. Like, you know, sometimes I get sassy. And someone just said, all I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry you're feeling so crappy. And of all of that winded, you know, not that I'm being left-winded, but because like I can understand this feeling, which is why I don't have to feel burdened by carrying this message through. It's hard for some readers to deliver topics this heavy, but because I've been through them, I feel pretty comfortable sharing and delivering it. Spirit just wants you to know that you're not alone and that it's totally acceptable to feel these things. But I feel like you kind of dodge these. You're like, or if you indulge in them little by little, then it's like, it's okay. It's very human, and it's not something that you should be ashamed of. It's not something that's like, I mean, we're even proud of. Maybe we are, I don't know. But Spirit, for some reason, wanted me to say that something about being proud about it. There might be a weird sense of pride associated with it, like being a warrior and a fighter and coming through all of that. And I mean, in a way, like, damn right you should be proud. Fuck. Like, excuse my French, but I mean, like, you've been through so much, so why not, right? But I do feel like there's a need to hyper-focus on it here. Not a need to, but like, because of your desire to, it's kind of sucking your joy out of the moment. So I really do feel like this challenges for the Seven of Wands is fighting away those demons. Because for whatever reason, the Seven of Wands, like the blue sky for whatever reason in my third eye just looks gray. It looks much darker than it actually is. Oh, bless you. It looks much darker than it actually is. And it feels like with lightning in the background, bless you. My ferret's like sneezing or coughing or something. With lightning in the background is kind of how it's flashing in my mind's eye for the Seven of Wands, and it feels like you're just fighting away your demons. That's essentially just what I feel like you're doing. It feels like a fight, and because it's the King of Swords, this is in your challenges, by the way, the Seven of Wands and the King of Swords, I really feel like it is fighting the demons of your mind. I really feel like it's fighting, like, you have a strong mind, and Spirit says, it feels like you can't escape it, but you can. And you know you can. I feel like you've learned the lessons well enough to understand that you can escape it, but sometimes you're falling into those feelings of not wanting to, and that's okay too. I mean, maybe it just might be like, on the outside, it feels like a great week. It feels like you're thriving, you're upgrading, you're updating, whatever it is you want to say. Like, I feel like you're up-leveling here, that you're taking charge. But there's an ache still here underneath it all. And I'm sorry. Like, that's, I mean, like, sometimes we just live with aches that, you know, it takes time for them to heal, and they will show up sometimes in our lives, and that's just the way, like I said, that's just the way the cookie crumbles there. And again, you don't have to force it. I'm hearing you don't have to force your passions or your creativity, Scorpio, because I kind of shuffle mindlessly sometimes, and then things just pop out, and so you're just getting shit added to the reading. But you have the King of Wands here, and the King of Wands, especially with the King of Swords, I don't feel like this is quite coming up in challenges, but Spirit does want me to draw on, Like whatever passion project work you're working on, whatever passion thing you're going for, you don't have to force it. If you're really not feeling it those days, like don't force it this week. Like it just feels like you have a good sense and good control over your passions and your mind. It's just a matter of just releasing that hold every once in a while. Practice things like escapism. If you want to like dance around your room for hours, then let it happen. Like just let it happen. Maybe that's the release that your body needs. Or maybe if you want to go, honestly, if you want to scroll on social media forever, there is a no shame in that. Just do it. Like if you don't need my permission to do it, but if you were looking to see if that was okay, maybe you've had such a tight control over things, or maybe you've just been so, I don't want to say stable, because that's not really, I don't think any of us people I don't think anybody's really that stable, but I think you have a pretty firm grip on things, which is good, but it's almost like it's too tight. So what's going to make your life easier, maybe actually, I just feel like you're emotionally aware and you're emotionally mature and you're understanding the workings of your mind a little bit. So you can kind of see, Scorpio, how things are progressing for you in this current state, and you understand what's ahead. You understand where you're walking into. And Scorpio, you see it, and I think you're a little afraid of it. Like maybe you have a fear of succeeding. So let me jump into what's going to make your life easier in the way forward, because I don't want to talk forever about how icky some of these aches are when amazing things are like trying to happen. Like, come on, you have the Hierophant and you have the 8 of Swords here. And what I really want to say is just whatever you put your attention on, whatever you put your focus on is going to like determine the mood of this week. That's the case with any week, but I feel like this week in particular, when you feel susceptible or prone to activities of cycling through old stories, and when you're reflecting on where you're going versus where you used to be. What's going to make your life easier with the Hierophant is having routines. Having routines. I heard share your wisdom with the world, so the Hierophant spreads his message as well. So being able to share and to help somebody else through their issues and through their stuff, and maybe to help them, I don't know, I just heard like help them start a YouTube channel, help them figure out which contracts to agree to, something about agreeing to contracts, teaching tutorials or how-tos to people for a skill that you have, or sharing your wisdom, your skills, your talents, your truths, things that you've learned throughout your life, and how to cope, how to overcome things, how to undergo these different processes to become the person that you are with the talents that you have, or whatever the case may be. Sharing your truth, sharing your voice is going to help aid you this week, as well as with the 8 of Swords, releasing yourself again from old stories told. Sometimes this is just like an unraveling. As Spirit just said, this is like a great unraveling, and they're saying this holds true. This is very powerful thing, and it's going to be done at many points during your life, Scorpio. So like, how do I want to say this? Not only do I feel like the 8 of Swords, you're like actively undressing the truth in you by releasing the blindfolds. I just see her being active and releasing blindfolds here. So what's going to make your life easier is telling yourself a different story. I think it's going to be, no, I know it feels something like, because of this spiritual, I keep calling it like a tumor or whatever, but there's some kind of ick in your energy, but because of past trauma, it might be hard to permanently get rid of. It might shrink, but it's probably always going to be there. I'm not saying it always will be. I don't want to condemn you, but I mean, somebody like depression, you're going to have that little spirit floating around with you. I'm not going to say forever again, because that's, but I mean, like, it's there, and you have to deal with it. You know, you have to deal with the, you have to deal with your brain. You have to deal with your body, and sometimes you have to deal with the afflictions that come with it. So something like that, you might have to you might find yourself having to release yourself from stories time and time again. And you don't put too much pressure on yourself to completely break this cycle, and don't feel ashamed if this feeling comes creeping up on you and that you indulge in it just a little bit. It is what it is, and just accepting it for what it is and for where you're at is going to be a lot better than shooing it away and shaming yourself because you felt you were beyond that point. So we'll see what your oracle cards. The one is mending, so healing from this ache. I don't know, Spirit just keeps echoing this ache, so really taking the time this week to heal from that ache. I'm hearing someone about, what did you just say? Something about a brother. I heard I think they might have said your brother is all right, or your brother is, I don't know, I just heard your brother is all right. Really taking the time now to heal your soul and to understand that you're safe where you're at and that things are going to be okay. And this is in terms of your spirit and trusting that the universe is going to take care of you and that your divine counterpart is coming, I heard, and that you are fully and unconditionally loved and accepted. And that is something that you will be learning again and again throughout this lifetime, that even your icky stuff, even the things that you feel icky, or this ick that you carry with you, this ache, this ick, whatever you want to call it, that is unconditionally loved too. You are unconditionally loved. And I don't know, it just makes you you. I really have no other way to say it. Spirit's just giving me divine love right now, so that's all I can communicate it as. You also have message in a bottle. So I really feel like by who? Okay, so Spirit said this is something that needs to be said. And when I asked by who, they said the divine. So this is a message that the divine will be delivering to you in some way, shape, or form. Message in a bottle. This means that okay, sorry, this is turning into like a half mediumship reading, and I don't want to go there. I kind of want to focus on the cards, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I just heard something like your sister is waiting for you, but I don't know what that means, if that's a confirmation for somebody or if that's somebody's sister on the other side. Not saying like go now, like, that's not, but I mean like they will wait for you. Like when it's your time, they will wait for you. If that's kind of what it feels like. If that's somebody's sister on the other side, I don't know. But for a message in a bottle, it feels like the divine is, they will be instructing you and telling you where to go. And this is going to be in the form of either your dreams. I'm hearing in terms of your friendships. There's something here about your friendships. Maybe you'll have a conversation with a friend that will lead you to, okay, don't give me too much. If you could just give me something that I can use. Nutter butter, something about safe words. I don't know. They're coming through with all kinds of like stuff that I can't like, that I can't like articulate fully. But it feels like maybe these are like like, I don't know. I just feel like for a select few of you, you'll be going into your dream state. But again, the divine, like, they're just like, the divine has something to tell you is what they're saying. So that's going to be the important part in your dreams. Watch out for signs around you. Watch out for the types of conversations that you have with your friends, with your loved ones, just with people around you in general. But I'm hearing specifically with your friendships. And they will tell you where to go. Or even sitting still in meditation for a little bit will tell you where to go. Oh, what did I just say with the Hierophant? Share your voice. Come out of the cave, persecution, expression. Dog, literally. Like, yeah, I don't think I have to say it again. That's exactly what I said. Spirit was like, we said that and then some. We said it before, we'll say it again. Share your voice. Let yourself express your wisdom and your truth and your story. And releasing yourself from the old stories doesn't necessarily mean that, like, you can't. So, like, and here's what I struggle with a lot: sharing your stories without getting back in a dark place. So, coming from it with a space of love and trying to channel that information, channel those memories into something constructive that the collective can use, or constructive that somebody else can use, that is incredibly difficult. I remember watching a documentary about Joan Didion. And she had lost her husband, and I believe she had also lost her daughter. And then she was extremely depressed, and she could not get out of bed, and she had a friend drag her to, like, a cafe or someplace and told her, write now. So she wrote this whole play in one sitting, writing through her grief. And she said it was the most, oh God, because, like, I want to cry talking about it, because it has got to be the hardest thing ever. She said that was the hardest thing I have ever had to do, but it needed to be done. And I only, like, want to bawl at this because I understand her pain. I am called to write a story about my own losses, but I can't bring myself to do it yet because it's just so hard. It's just so hard. There's a lot of, like, guilt-ridden fear in it. I mean, this reading is not about me, Scorpio, but all I'm going to say is sharing your voice in certain ways can be tough. But if you can light up the world of one person, I feel like you're going to feel a lot better about the life that you lived. There's also a pyramid in this that I feel called to share. In this card, there's a pyramid. And because pyramids are ancient and they hold treasures, I really do feel like you're somebody who does hold those treasures. You might even have ties to Egypt. Excuse me. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like, or like something about ancient civilizations might be important for you to look up in terms of your spiritual journey. And yes, just say yes to new opportunities this week. Yes, in terms of, like, oh, and this is also like, yes, in your abilities. Yes, I can. Yes, I made it. And yes, I can continue to make it. Yes, I am worthy. Yes, I am beautiful. Yes, I am longed for. Yes, I am loved. These are the things that are coming to mind right now as I pull this card. And it really does feel like it's saying those things, saying those affirmations will mend the heart space. So, but you need to do it willingly, I heard. Don't begrudgingly do it, but you need to really come from it, like, come at affirmations from a place where you feel like you want to heal yourself. And I don't know, I feel like that just healing is a theme for this week. Bloom and attract more than butterflies. So again, you are attracting opportunities. You are really blooming and coming into yourself. This healing is just a very small step on your journey of absolute abundance that's going to be so much bigger than you could imagine, I feel like, Scorpio. This is like something that's just like a really... I'm having trouble articulating this feeling that's coming to me, but there's so much potential here, and there's so much that you can grab onto. I feel like I'm looking at a flower field here. Like I'm looking at a bunch of blooming tulips in this never-ending field, and I feel like you can pluck any one of them. You can walk through the path and pluck any one of them. You can be any one of them. You can take any of those opportunities, and you can craft whatever it is that you want from this flower meadow. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. I don't know. I feel really good about where you're headed, Scorpio, and I feel like this next week is not only going to be one of seizing opportunities and receiving messages from the divine, whatever downloads or intuitive channels that, you know, whatever you experience, I feel like it's going to be very healing as well. I just heard that this week will serve its purpose. The 13th to the 19th is, even though it might seem like a small step on the grand scheme of things, months from now, you might look like, if you can even remember this week, you might look back on it and think, like it wasn't that big of a deal compared to all the other amazing things or icky things that happen, but it's still necessary. Like spirits, like this is the pivotal part of your journey. So let me roll the angel dice for you and see, Scorpio, what else we have for you. We have 5, 8, 7. So I'm going to pull from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray, as always. Your journey is manifesting opportunities for you to step up and stand in your power once more. This is a time for you to reclaim your voice and confidence. Oh, for sure. Oh, Woo! Say it again. Your journey is manifesting opportunities for you to step up and stand in your power once more. This is a time for you to reclaim your voice and confidence. Oh my goodness, Scorpio. Again, talking about like declaring your voice and stating your truth and going boom, like this is me and this is my wisdom, this is my cure, this is my voice, this is my speech to the world. I don't know why I just came out with all that, but that is what it is. There we have it, Scorpio. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you for allowing me to connect with your guides and with your energy and with your spirit team. I appreciate it. Thank you to my guides and spirit teams and angels for connecting with me. Thank you for helping me channel. And I love you, I love you, I love you. And I'll see you next time.